This is devlog 2 of my final year project. Devlog 2 marks the end of phase 1, putting the game at the end of its prototyping phase. The changes I made to this devlog are that I removed the animations and plan to add them later, as the research I have done has led me to believe that if I do not animate the player in the correct way, it may not translate properly when online multiplayer is incorporated. I also removed the idea of a main menu system and decided to add a lobby where the player can choose how they wish to play. I did encounter a few bugs while prototyping. I encountered a bug which occurred when the keypad was used on the door or drawer. You would not be able to open the door because of the configurable joints on the keypad. They would reach their limits and force the door back into its starting position. To fix this, I added a function to the button controller which disables and destroys the configurable joints and rigid bodies attached to the buttons. This is called when the correct code is entered in the keypad, and it also allows me to make one-time use buttons. I have two types of player controllers. Of course I have the VR controller, but I've also been working on a desktop controller. The desktop controller works on mouse and keyboard, as well as using game controllers such as an Xbox remote. To account for the player's lack of physical movement and the ability to have a wristwatch, I added a simple UI showing the player the clock. This will be adapted and changed as needed. As it is not the main concern at the moment, or focus, I will be working on this little by little, so at the moment, there is no way to pick up or interact with buttons, switches, etc. I added the player movement so that when the player pushes forward on the joystick on either hand, they can now teleport around the room. I have run into an issue where the player can use the teleport ray through colliders. I'll fix this so the ray sees the collider, or so that the teleport area knows something is on top of it. Function development. Currently, when the player completes a room, it sends the player back to the lobby and gives it a debug message, with the time taken to complete the room. I have a few ideas how I will change this, and the player will see the time being prompted before returning to lobby. On the screen, you can see the idea that I want to use. The player will have a clipboard. This will be their menu. I plan to add this, and on there I will have a screen telling them a time, the congratulations message that was set up by the room creator, and then they can decide if they wish to return to the lobby alone or return with the group. This script runs at the beginning of each scene and checks if the player has all the required hardware and software connected in order to run VR. If they don't, the game will automatically switch to desktop mode. It also contains a variable which I can use to force desktop mode. I added this for ease of development. Instead of a main menu, I decided to load the player straight into the lobby. Other games like Phasmophobia have done this, and I find it makes the game more enjoyable and immersive. I split the lobby into 3 sections. There is the entry area where the player spawns and is shown the controls for the game. There is a waiting area with chairs and a table, which makes it feel more like a store waiting area. And there is a control area where the player can choose how they wish to play. This will be where hosts can set up the session and where players can go to join or start the game on their own. Thanks for watching. That's all for now.